What was manna really? The meaning most people miss. What was manna really? Food from heaven? A miracle? Or something deeper? Because at first glance, it looks simple. Just provision in the wilderness. But the details tell a different story. In the book of Exodus, the people woke up one morning and found something strange covering the ground. Something they had never seen before. And their first response was a question. What is it? And interestingly, that question became its name. Manna? Now pause for a moment. Why would something so important be introduced as something unfamiliar? Why not something they already understood? Something comfortable? Something predictable? Why something mysterious? Because maybe the lesson was never only about food. The people were in the wilderness. No farms, no systems, no supply chains, no certainty. And every morning, provision appeared. Quietly, consistently. Enough for the day. Not excess. Not shortage. Enough? But here's where the story becomes unusual. They were told not to store too much. Not to accumulate. Not to secure tomorrow in advance. Why? Because manna was teaching something deeper. Dependence. Daily trust. Not control. Not certainty. Not self-sufficiency. Dependence. And that's uncomfortable. Because people naturally want control. They want guarantees. Security. Predictability. They want to know what tomorrow looks like before it arrives. But manna didn't allow that. It forced people to trust one day at a time. Think about how difficult that feels. To receive without controlling. To trust without seeing ahead. To move forward without full certainty. And maybe that's why this story still matters today. Because not much has changed. People still worry about tomorrow. What if things fail? What if plans collapse? What if resources disappear? Constant concern about what hasn't happened yet. But manna carries a different message. Provision does not always arrive in familiar ways. It doesn't always come through expected channels. Sometimes it appears unexpectedly. Quietly. In ways people didn't plan for. And maybe that's where many people miss it. Because they are looking for specific answers, specific outcomes, specific forms of provision. And when it doesn't look like what they expected, they overlook it. They dismiss it. They don't recognize it. But here's the part most people miss completely. Manna did not last forever. It stopped when the people reached the next season. The promised land. Now think about that carefully. The provision changed. When the season changed, that means something important. Not everything is meant to last forever. Some things are seasonal. Some lessons are temporary. Some forms of provision are only meant for a specific time. And holding on to them too long can prevent growth. Because what sustained you before may not be what sustains you next. And that transition is where many people struggle. They try to hold on to what was familiar, what felt safe, what they understood. Instead of adapting to what is now required. But growth requires movement. It requires release. It requires trust. Not just in one season, but in the next one too. So the real question is not, what was manna? The real question is, what are we still struggling to trust today? What are we trying to control that was never meant to be controlled? What are we holding on to that was only meant for a past season? And if the answer feels uncomfortable, maybe that's where the real understanding begins. If this made you think differently, subscribe to Grace Unseen for more hidden biblical truths and deeper meanings behind the stories most people overlook.